You know, sometimes it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel, cause so many things that go against us. But it's something inside our spirit that just keep us marching forward. We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright.
Bro, this is long overdue.
We've been talking about this for a minute, man.
Like years.
But I feel like timing is everything, though. You feel what I'm saying?
When was the last time we seen each other, bro? I feel like the last time I seen you was at your fashion show.
My fashion show. I think it was
3 years ago?
Yeah, it was my winter show. That was the first time I did my winter show in 2021. And I remember you surprised me.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if you was coming, but you flew down. I'm like,
damn. Like, I had to be there. That joint was a movie, bro.
Fourth quarter fashion show. I remember that, Joe.
That joint was a movie.
No, I appreciate it,
bro. You packed that joint right up, too. I seen everybody. I seen the whole Southwest.
And there was a lot of people we went to school with, too, because, you know, that was post-Temple, so it was also good seeing your college friends. You know, anytime you graduate, we appreciate the times we all link up again. So that was one of those.
I didn't see Darius up until that point. It was like a couple years. That was my man, so I got to see him there. I was happy.
Damn, it's been 3 years already, bro.
Yeah, bro.
But what a time to reunite, though, man.
Yo, it's crazy, bro. When I look at you, like, I still see the same young boy, like,
since we was kids, man.
Bro, a lot of people don't know. Like, when you came to Temple, like, a lot of people ain't know. I'm like, that's my man. Like, I really know you.
Yeah,
like, what y'all see, been the same person like this whole time. So.
Likewise, bro. I could tell too, because when we was there, you know, you was already had motion with the smooth, and I was trying to get my foot in.
Yeah.
But I could tell they probably think like, oh, he met a lot of people here. I'm like, no, you was actually one of the ones that I seen come up, and that's why I was so proud to always come to your events, because I'm like, yo, it hit different when you see somebody just beat the odds and. Even you going to college, bro, that was, to me, that was a win. People don't even dig it, bro, because that wasn't the conversations we was on growing up. So we all just had hoop dreams, and it stuck at that.
Right.
But
we ain't know nothing else. We ain't know how we was going to hoop for, how long. It was just today. In this moment, we hooping. That's all that mattered, bro.
Oh, for real, man.
Like, how far we came since then, bro, from Southwest, bro, I'm very proud of you, bro. Like, I always got to tell you that when I see you, like, very proud of everything that you've done, bro. You've been in business, bro, for what? Over a decade?
9 years next month.
About to be in this for a decade, bro. That's phenomenal. People don't make it that far, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
And we was talking about how we met. For the people on the camera that don't know, me and you, we met through basketball. We also got like a lot of like mutual friends. Like I'm cool with a lot of his family. Like me and his brother, that was like a newer relationship that developed. But because of how close me and you was, I think that allowed me to meet your brother. Yeah. And then we like this. Like when I met your brother, bro, we was outside of John's, right on 65th and Woodland, bro, right outside of Golden Touch. Yeah. That was the first time we ever had a conversation. Wow, that's crazy. For y'all listening out, if y'all not from Philly, Philly is a dangerous city. So, bro, we standing outside in one spot for 2.5 hours just talking. Anything could have happened.
They don't even dig that imagery, bro. For real.
I just felt like in that moment when we was together, bro, like it didn't feel like nothing else mattered. Like me and Matt, bro, we really like kindred spirits. Like
talk about you all the time.
That's
man.
my man, bro.
Right there, man.
We understand each other, bro. I don't know what it is, but if you could just, introduce yourself to the people, bro. Tell them who you are, what you're about. Let's get into this.
My name is Ndiaye, CEO of a brand called Somebody Gotta Do It, lifestyle motivational brand, and that we represent possibilities. When we say somebody gotta do it, I always gotta add, apply it in a positive circumstance. So if you want to be a teacher, a lawyer, you want to do podcasts, you name it, somebody gotta do it is a call to action. We challenge you to be that person to do it, because if you don't do it, nobody else is gonna do it for you, man.
So it's a lot that I wanted to talk to you about, bro, but I wanted to do this interview a little different today because I feel like people that have like followed you over the years, you just said you've been in business for almost a decade. Yeah. So I feel like people know you on those fronts, but even as a friend to you, I feel like it's still a lot that I don't know. Right. It's basic things. Like I know you from a character and a moral standpoint, but sometimes it's more like, what does Yusuf like to do? Or like, he's not working. Like, what does that downtime look like? Right. And then, bro, you very interactive with your supporters. One thing I always say is, like, you'll ask questions, and then there'll be, like, a lot of perspectives or you go live. Yeah. So, I guess, like, outside of somebody got to do it as a brand, like, who are you, bro? Like, how would you describe yourself?
It's so crazy. Like, it'd be like the simple questions that's loaded, but it's also good because, like, this gives me the chance to really just give that context. You feel what I'm saying? like I always tell people I lead with my spirituality. Like I'm a Muslim man, first and foremost. I'm a Muslim black man. I'm a Muslim black African American man, and I'm a Muslim black African American man that runs a business. But outside of that, like people don't know, like I value certain things that's I like to protect. You feel what I'm saying? Like my family, my peace of mind, my friends, my community. So since I was younger, you know, even when you met me, I was kind of reserved too with all that. So long story short, I felt like, you know, somebody gotta do it, open the door for me that allowed people to not kind of like invade in my privacy, because this would come with the territory, but I had to just accept this norm of social media that, all right, I have to share a lot that I might not want to. And being as though I'm a, you know, private person, I always try to like protect certain things that I deem to be very special to me. Because I just feel like some things the world can't see you naked, for lack of a better word. So like, I'm always with my family. Like I'm always at the masjid. I'm always like having kickbacks with friends I'm close with. But all those things, like I said, I keep it off camera because those are the few times where I can unwind and people can look at me without me having the hat on. And I just love being around a space where like I'm used or Yusuf, whichever way they preferably call me, without it being like somebody pitching something to me or, yo, I'm trying to run this, yo, what you think about this event? So when I'm with that, I just love that the tribe I got. They understand that and is very valued and, you know, ingrained in us. And that's what I love. And that's why I think a lot of people, when they see me, they don't think I do anything. And I get it, because you guys said perception is reality. Because I got ongoing questions all the time that people would see me and they would try to give advice. You need to do some stuff for yourself. Like you got to have self-care regimens. I'm like, how you know I don't have it? You know, but I can't blame it. But I just know I always been intentional for 9 straight years. It's not just now. I just kind of like, for whatever reason, when I was a dub, just 20 years old, when I started this, I just told myself like, yo, I understand social media to be social media, but my real life and my privacy, I'm gonna always just keep this boundaries and there's that balance, because I don't want to. I know what that could do for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what I've been on since then. And you know, a lot of people they ain't get to, I guess, hear this side, so it could be a little confusing. But that's really what it is. It's not like it's not meant to be like mysterious and everything. You feel what I'm saying?
So it's not intentional.
No, it's not intentional.
All right. So like, I told you this before the camera, bro. But like, just as a viewer, like I'm a friend to you, so I know how you are in real life. Bro. I feel like a lot of people, you got thousands of followers. And one thing I always repeatedly see, bro, is from the women. It seems like a lot of women are interested in like, why doesn't Yusuf have a wife? And when I look around you, bro, your cousins, people around you, your family, my siblings, a lot of people are married at a younger age, and that seems customary in y'all religion to do that. So I just want to ask for you, what's your thought process around that at this stage of your life?
I mean, I'm definitely somebody who, I come from that world and that reality of marriage, and I'm one of those people that I do want to adopt the same thing. Like I love love. Like I love the idea of being a father, being a husband, and also creating that family and that space for myself that I didn't have, because I grew up with a single parent household. But even with that, my dad was always good to my mom. I never seen something like that. You know, he was deported. Unfortunately, circumstance happened when I was like 5 years old. But they've been married since then still, and they've been in contact for the last 20-some years without even seeing each other. So I saw love through a different lens.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. But I always told myself that, you know, like I said, be who I needed when I was younger. But even with that came a lot of challenges because, again, I'm in business. I started this at 20 years old. And that's a young age. People don't understand. For something like that to fall in your lap. So me trying to find myself and also go to college and also just figure myself out as a man, I tried to embark in that journey as well, but I had to be real with myself. Like a lot of people, my peers, weren't in the position where they was juggling what I was juggling. So for them, they could just push play on that and that's their life. But for me, you know, I didn't know how to separate this world and this new thing at the time. And I'm trying to grow it, you know, pour into this and then pour into somebody else and then commit. So I think I struggle with the commitment side because it's hard for a woman to be with somebody who don't make time. And it's not even like not making time, but not understanding what somebody's time and how valuable it is. Like, especially if you're building something in the beginning, you got to put all your time and energy in it. So I just wasn't in a position where I could commit to somebody else because I know I wasn't going to be able to give them all of me.
Yeah.
And the way I am, you see how I run my business. How I do one thing is how I do everything. If I'm gonna be with somebody, I want to make sure like I'm doing what I need to do as a husband, my due diligence, and just really be what I need to. And I think at that time, and even throughout the years, I'm 29, so clearly it lasted a longer time than I thought. But I would say like right now, I am in that space where I do look forward to embarking at, because I do have more of a flow of what I'm doing. And even if I'm not where I need to be at, I still know where I'm heading.
Right.
And just because I know where I'm heading, I can bring somebody along with me this journey now. You feel me?
I feel like that was a great answer, bro. For the people that was wondering about that, I feel like you brought a lot of clarity to that.
Appreciate it. Sorry for the long-windedness. I was trying to like land it. Yeah.
This your stage, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
I wanted to ask you, like, do you feel like over the years, because you've garnered a team, like I could see the difference.
Right.
You started to build the branches out of somebody got to do it. Yeah. And now I'm seeing more faces alongside you when you do pop up that are helping you bring these things to life. You talked about your boy off camera, Shazam.
Yep, Shazam. Shout out to my
I know he's one person that has really helped you and been at the forefront of building somebody out there. Right. And I know there's other people behind the scenes too.
Right, absolutely.
But do you feel like you not having to carry so much in terms of your commitment to the brand has opened up for you to start thinking about those other parts of your life?
Yeah, that's a really good question, bro. And it also made me realize that one person can't do everything. Because when I was younger, you gotta understand, like I come from a sports background, and although it was a team sport, we cared about like our stats and like just making sure we get our shine. And so we didn't like cohesion and learning how to coexist wasn't really easy. So the thing that I was fortunate and lucky about is a team presented itself for me off rip. So at a young age, imagine as a man having to check your ego. I think that's really what it was, to be like, yo, this is not just about me. And at that time, when you're young, it's easy to have that. You want something, you want to hold on to it. But I realized, for whatever reason, God gave me that consciousness at a young age that in order for me to grow, I got to let people be able to be their best selves around me. And I also got to be able to not only be a leader, but know how to produce other leaders. And part of leadership for me is like taking the back seat. That wasn't easy for me. But I understood that I can't bring people along and have them feel like a leash. If you make them feel like it's their brand, they're going to take it as wrong. Even if it's not the way you take it, but it's going to be close, like assimilation of like how you would run it.
Based on what skills they have and what they have to offer, they're going to wear it and rep it as best as they can.
Yeah. And I realized that even some things where I'm like, you know what, I feel like he's a better fit for this than even myself. I'm going to have to let him do that. Or she's a better fit. She got a better eye when it comes to certain things. I'm going to let her take that. And I know where I feel like I do well at, I'm going to just focus on this. Even if the task for me becomes just like this, it still to me was always like, yo, this bigger picture. And not only has that helped me grow in business, but like you say, even other aspects. And now I can also be able to water certain things in my life that I got going on outside of this, because I know I got a well-oiled machine of business, which I'm grateful for. So,
what are the values that you have as a group that you feel keep you guys together?
I think selflessness is the first thing. Because one thing I love about let's put it to the people. When people come to me, it's not about what they say about me, it's what they say about my team. And to me, that's even a bigger compliment. Like when they run into like Shama or E or Pat, like when I'm not around, they be like, your team came to drop packages of, I love them. They did this, they spoke, they're so nice. Like even something simple as that. Like people are nice in this world too. So when you hear people like regurgitate these words, and it really warms my heart, because I feel like we're all in unison. Like we're a reflection of each other. Same way if you tell you're in a relationship, you see your partner and all that. So I feel like even with your team, it's not going to make sense if they're good people and I'm a shitty person. So that's one of the things that I feel like everybody want to see each other succeed. You just see how happy I am when Shama get hosting opportunities outside of this. Or if I get speaking engagement, like he take it like he just got it. Same thing with E. So when we see how we all just want to see each other win, and we all just think like, yo, like, what's best for the people? That's one thing I love about us. Every time we have disagreements or whatever, we always go back to the drawing board, like what's best for the business and what's best for the community. Whatever it is that we're working towards, we just think about the best possible outcome and take away like what's in it for us. And I think that's some of the things that I'm so grateful for, because man, it's rare. We also understand it's a rarity to have that type of people around you.
For sure. Bro, you always remind me, I never thought of this, but like thinking about when you was younger, you remind me of Ace Boogie from Paid in Full. Like
a lot of people say that. Oh, it's crazy, it's weird. And this is gonna be a hot take. I ain't never watched Paid in Full.
Word?
Some reason it just never like. I should have, I could have a few times.
You gotta watch that, bro.
Yeah, but people say that a lot. They always bring that up.
It's like his humility, bro. Like he got everything that his homies had, but he ain't care about like the glitz and glamour of it. He really just wanted to be able to take care of himself and his people and stuff. And like he always would tell his homies, like, yo, we don't gotta do all that. Like we don't gotta pop out like that. Like we don't gotta hurt people. Like we could just get our money and just like live a positive, cool life, private life. And I feel like when I look at you, bro, I see a lot of that in you. So I wanted to ask you, like, where do you credit your humility, bro? Because that's something that when you talk about aura, bro, you have this aura where like your presence is always felt when you walk into a room, but you never go out of your way to like assert your. Usually you'll find yourself speaking or something, but when you do speak, it's always something of substance and value to everybody in the room that uplifts you, bro. So I just want to ask you, like, where do you credit your humility?
Man, you know, it's so crazy when you start to grow and evolve, you constantly trace back certain things and you try to really think, because sometimes it may be like, is it because of my spirituality?
Yeah.
Is it my upbringing? Is it my culture? Is it my parents? And I think maybe it could be a assimilation of everything, because I just felt like for me, you know, we're both West African, you know what I mean? And being the first generation born, it's just something about coming from nothing that just builds your appreciation and humility, because you know that this could have almost been non-existent.
Right.
And the fact that we found ourselves in a position where, you know, God allowed us to be in this country and have opportunities that our parents didn't have. We don't even got to trace back further than that. Just what our parents simply didn't have. And just think about, most of us are the first generation everything. Right. First generation grad, first generation business owners, first generation parents. So like, it's so many things that when you look at that, it's so many little accomplishments in itself that you got to be grateful. Like, I can't act like that's not my reality, man. That's why it's so easy for me to stay home and who I am and not want what is not for me, and just be grateful, because I'm like, yo, like, do you not see what you're doing right now? You can set up a platform or a position for your next generation that can be unimaginable, because you came and you was able to do something with this vehicle. Now when you pass them the wheel, they can be able to do more. So I think it probably just stemmed from that. Long story short, it's just like, yo, I understand my reality and where I come from, and I don't try to deviate from where I come from. You know what I'm saying? I always think back to like, yo, I didn't think this was possible, man. I know for a fact. I remember going home hungry multiple nights. I remember telling my mom it's gonna be okay, not knowing if it's gonna be okay. So I'm just like, yo, man, we just thank God, bro.
It cuts through, bro. Like, I'm telling you this just as an observer. Like, even when I see you around people that are like, quote unquote, they probably have more of a celebrity, more notoriety socially than you. Like, you always cut through in the way of like, I know at all times, because I know you outside of the cameras, like, he's still being himself in this aspect.
Appreciate it, bro.
Whereas them, they might feel like, all right, let me jump into character, or like, I gotta be animated or whatever. When I see you, it's like, no, that's the same use. Like, he's still smiling. When he speak, it's always going to be something of value. The way he conduct himself, he ain't disrespecting nobody. He ain't going on his way. Nobody going to have nothing bad to say about him. Like, that's just him. So just as an observer, somebody witnessing it, bro, it cuts through. Like, big time. One thing I wanted to ask you, bro, is like, when you look back on everything that you came from, bro, like speaking of Southwest, like, it wasn't always a linear path. Like, people that follow you, they might know, like, no, this ain't the use that back in the day. Like, so when you speak on that, bro, I just want you to speak on, like, where you came from as a man, and like, how do you even get to this point to where you're at today? Because you did like a whole 360. Like,
I mean, when I look back, bro, honestly, man, I just know, like, one thing that I came to realize, again, you see what I just said earlier about tracing back, because one thing I always realized is I always had a subconscious. I didn't understand at the time, because you don't know the terms, you don't understand why you feel the way you feel. But I remember, even when I was around the wrong crowd and doing things I wasn't supposed to do, I always felt bad, or like, damn, like, I shouldn't be doing this. It's
I was
crazy.
telling Sam, it's where we come from, bro. That voice being
exactly,
back.
And you'd be surprised, some people are not conscious.
No.
There's really some, you look at the generation where some kids just really reckless. So for me, I always knew, like, even when I was in my group, like, we better than this, or I can do more than this. I just didn't know how to go about knowing what better looks like, or finding my way to just step out of this comfort zone. Because it's all, when you know something your whole life to just be one way, it's all you know. It's easier said than done to be like, if you know better, you do better. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because how many people around us do we feel like know better, but a lot is still going through the same battle? So I think what happened was, like, for whatever reason, the people around me gave me grace. Yeah. And that was some of the biggest things for me to start to, like, not judge myself and not be hard on myself. Yeah. And to try to tap into this leadership role that people saw. Sometimes we don't see stuff in ourselves, but people see things in you. Right. Like, how many times people be like, yo, you good at talking? Yeah. Or we'll tell our friends, you ever thought about doing this? Yeah. For whatever reason, people around me used to always point things out, like, yo, you notice every time you speak, people listen. Right. And I remember one time a high school teacher said something that was so redefined. I tell them this to this day. Yeah. When I got in trouble for something, I think I told everybody in school not to wear uniform and it worked. Yeah. But the fact that he found something good in the bad, right? He's like, yo, you notice how you just made everybody do that? Imagine if you would have led in the right way. Right. You know what you mean? He's like, you got like leadership. Like, you just lead in the wrong form. He said, imagine if you start to apply this in a positive way, what that would look like. And that's crazy to sound like, that still wasn't firm to my mind at the moment. Yeah. But when I started to find my groove and, you know, and understand who I am, I started to go back to those things that people say. Because even now, I'm pretty sure you being a parent, you think about the cliches. Maybe your parents told you that now you like.
I understand it. So that sounds like you just gotta let.
No, for real. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, stuff land on you when it's supposed to. When it's supposed to. You're never gonna miss you, bro. It's stuff like your mom said to me at 9, 10 years old, 15. Yeah, and I didn't have no clue what she was talking about. Right. Now that I'm in the position, it makes me feel sad sometimes. I'll be like, damn, I really took her wisdom for granted, bro. But now it's like, I just find the best applications for it in my day-to-day life now. How can I use this? And I think another thing on the topic of your humility, bro, is that, like, I'm not going to say you was like a super street person, like you was in the streets, but like, given what you do have experience of, it's like, I feel like a lot of old heads, bro, they be itching to say, I did this, and like I was around like that, and they lead with that. But I like that with you, bro. Your approach is that, like, yo, if you get close to me, like, I'll share this. If you ask questions, like, I'll share this with you because I do have this point of view. So it just shows me that it's various forms of leadership. Yeah. And the way that you do it, there's nothing wrong with the way you do it. And I ain't gonna say there's nothing wrong with the way they do it. Right. It just all come down to what feels comfortable. But another thing I wanted to talk to you about, bro, is in following you over the years, I feel like I could see it from the time you was at Temple. I feel like you're in this space of becoming like a much more reflective person. Yeah. And when I say it, I see the introspection live, like with the questions that you ask. How they get ready for marriage, or like how are they taking care of themselves, or like how do they manage running their business and like personal life. So as an African man, bro, we just talked about generations. Yeah. Like, that's not something that like our ancestors, or even like you said, as recent as our parents, that they think about. Like self-care, mental health, that's not even like a thing in their vocabulary. So like, I just want to ask you, like, thinking about that, like, why is that important to you?
What, self-care element?
Like, just like becoming more reflective and like trying to think about those self-care practices or things that like keep you grounded.
I think that's a really good question too. I think because when you look at where you're trying to go, at some point, you got to be able to trace back why we're in this like cat race to begin with. You know what I'm saying? People talk about like, you know, generational curses, generational traumas. So for it to stop with us and not continue, you got to understand where it stemmed from. And then that's what I started to just look back on, like, all right, why do my parents act this way? Like, instead of me waiting for them to apologize in the African household, maybe let me just think deeper. You know what I mean? And then once I realized something like, yo, damn, my mom had her first child at 14. She was a child. And she got married. Imagine this, somebody translate that in this generation, what that looked like. So when I started to really just unpack for them, unpack for myself, and release and start to see where I want to go, it just made me just understand that, all right, this is good for my own sanity. It's good for my own health. And it's also like good for me, like moving forward in other spaces. Because sometimes we carrying in a lot of weights that we don't even realize, you know what I'm saying? So that's some of the things for me. It just made me reflective on those components. You know what I'm saying?
I see you recently just held an event called Safe Space.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was a gathering spot for men to be able to come and like, just fellowship around the idea of mental health. So I just want to ask you to explain that event, bro. Like, just talk us through what do you think the impact of that was?
Bro, I'll be the first to say, man, like the people that know me, it's hard for me to be satisfied with anything I do, especially from an event standpoint, because there's always something I could be like, I could have done better, or like, because the way I look at things is always that my own expectations is the issue. It's not about what people put on me as far as how I want things to go. But I say all that to say this was one event where I left there feeling like, man, it was fulfilling. That word alone did it for me, because I'm like, I didn't really know what to expect, because it's like getting a bunch of men to come together and open up and be vulnerable. That could be a tall task, but I'm like, it's a reason why it's not being done. So I don't want to stray away and just back out. So we still went through with it. But I've never seen a room where I gained so many perspectives. I left there realizing, you see how even some of the compliments you said, I left there realizing like, yo, I don't know as much as I think I know. I'm not as open-minded as I thought, because I never seen people just give insights in a way where it had me thinking. It had me, speaking of reflection, it had me like, damn, bro. Sheesh. It made me want to like, yo, I'm like, this is crazy, because like it was so therapeutic, like how we just mentioned before I came on. Like, I just think that a lot of people sometimes just need to release, because some people in there, I got that from, I could tell like, yo, main man just needed to release. Or some people in here just needed to see things from a different lens, because his whole life he was just looking at it this way. So the thing about men being around men, you take away external factors to make you, like, for example, woman, you trying to impress them or being a certain way. Now it's just us, bro. We just being raw, authentic, and we holding each other accountable, holding ourselves accountable in a respective manner. So I think that was the whole goal, was just to just give people a platform where we can just talk amongst each other. That's why I say conversation among men. Because if you watch me, all I do is I predicated my focus towards the youth. But I don't really talk to my peers as much, because I'm really with the kids. So that was my whole thinking, like, yo, I gotta be able to bridge the gap and talk to the people around me, see how we doing. Because most people around me, we're all juggling multiple things. They got kids, or they married, or they doing businesses. But like, we need to come together and just like, let's just unpack, man, just us. And that's really what it was stemming from.
What do you feel like is the biggest piece of perspective that you gained following that event?
Two things can be true. That was my biggest thing, because I feel like I just kind of like, sometimes like with your own beliefs, I'm a victim of that too. Like, either it's right or it's wrong. You know what I mean? Or I see it this way and this how I see it. You know what I mean? But people explain different perspectives in a way where like, I'm like, yo, they're not wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. We may not agree with it or understand it at that point, but the way they explain it, it just made sense. So I think that's what I gained from it. It's like a lot of us, like, it was people talking about like a conversation that went on. I don't remember the details, but it's about like, why don't men hold each other accountable? And the way they went into that, bro, I'm not even gonna lie, it just made me look at it so much with more grace too. It's like, damn, like, yo, like that's crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, that was one of the things I think I just really took from that. It's like, yo, there's so many things that, and it's also good to have uncomfortable conversations, because I feel like a lot of us don't really, like, not a lot, but just people in general, they shy away from confrontation. But sometimes it's needed. Like, it bridge a lot of healthy relationships after that too. You feel me?
Yeah, one thing I gathered over the last few years, bro, was that somebody told me to like doubt my level of certainty. And I feel like for me as a person, bro, like I feel like I'm very sharp-witted. I feel like I understand things. So usually, like, if I get a hunch, I don't be wrong a lot of times. I feel like I be sharp. And I feel like I have sharp people around me. So when I run it by them and they tell me like, no, you won't point with that. I be feeling like, all right, like this is the way. And I feel like going into conversations and interactions, especially confrontations with that mindset, it can hurt you. Because you're not being open-minded to different perspectives. And I think I've seen that the most in my personal relationship. So I think like when it came to like doubting my level of certainty now, as I'm still learning, like in the past, I would argue my point down to the T, like, like this is what I believe, this is the way, blah, blah, blah. And now I just sit with things like, and that's how I could tell I'm maturing, because I'm like, yo, they not wrong. That's just based on their life and their upbringing, that's their point of view.
That's their point of view.
I can't never expect them to see things the way that I see things. It's just impossible given our lived experiences. But if we could work together to find some level of alignment in the middle, that's the best way going forward, to take your ego out of it, to be right. And I feel like, bro, I feel a lot more peace that way, bro. Like when you be clinging to your ideas and you stressing yourself out, arguing, trying to get people to see, bro, it's not fun, bro. But now I just be like, they be like, what's wrong? So I'm like, nothing. I'm just taking it in. I'm like, that's a different point of view. I'm gonna sit with that. I don't have a response right now, but if something comes to me, like we could revisit the conversation.
You know, even to piggyback off that real quick, you know what also made me realize some of those points? A lot of times people come from spaces where they're the go-to, or they're the experience, the expertise. So when you're in a position where I felt like a small fish in a big pond again. So when you're in a position where like, all right, now you're in a position where like information and resources going to come where you got to be open-minded to it. That's different because now you're bringing people from all walks of life who's just like you in your respective spaces too.
And we need that, bro. People like you and myself, we need that. Like it's like a nice reality check.
It really is, bro.
It's a nice change of pace too, to be like, all right, like I could still learn. Like I don't have to always be like the go-to, or like it's people that I could seek knowledge from. Hopefully you left with one or two connections with people you feel like.
No, absolutely. And I said that because I think a lot of people noticed that I got silent. And I'm like, I think that's the thing, like kind of what you alluded to earlier. I'm like, for me, like I speak when I feel I can add value to a conversation, or if I feel like I got something compelling I want to say. I don't just speak for the sake of speaking. In that moment, I told him like, yo, y'all was dropping so much. I felt like I needed to listen more to speak because I'm learning more. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, and as I get older, bro, I find myself doing that more and more. Like, I feel like when I was younger, like, I didn't realize the power and the gift that it is to be able to communicate and articulate yourself. And I know a lot of instances, I probably use my communication not in the best ways, but I think as I'm getting older, I'm learning that, like, yo, like, if you don't have nothing to say, like, especially nothing nice to say, don't say nothing. Like, it's cool to just listen or just even say, like, I don't even have nothing right now. Like I've been doing that like a lot more, and I feel more peace because of it. And I think people around me be shocked because they like, no, I'll tell you, like you always got
to. Especially when they know you as a speaker, bro. Sometimes they be like overdoing it, bro. I went to like a baby shower one time. It's like, you want to give a speech? I said, bro, it's a baby shower. I'm like, you can't. That's not how this works, bro. But it's like they really be like overdoing it, bro.
It's a gift though, bro, because I realized too, like how our words can like light up a room, bro. People feeling like that's a gift from God, bro. Like maybe talk, and even just how we are so comfortable affirming other people around us, bro. Like
for sure,
like,
bro.
It's a lot of people that don't feel good about themselves, bro. That can't pull from within to be able to say, hey, you look nice today, or I like your sneakers, or something like that. So. It's just a gift that I feel like over time, bro, I'm learning to nurture, but also just like learning how to, with my maturity, it's like, all right, I know how to use my power. It's like a superhero. Like I feel like we all got our own superpower.
Right.
Like you learning how to like nurture your gift. And I feel like that's where I'm at with things. But speaking of impact, bro, like when I look at somebody got to do it as a brand, like communal impact seems like it's always been one of the pillars of what you do. Like not only are you putting out clothing, merchandise, but you will always have these legs and extensions to the community. So I just want to ask you, like, why is that so important for you?
I mean, the community aspect, bro, honestly, that's always been, you know how some things just a part of you? And with everything you do, you want to be able to be representative of like who you truly are. So obviously, I always had a respect level and appreciation for clothes because that's how I got started. So I feel like I always owe my supporters, and if you notice, I say SGDI family. I don't even like to refer to them as supporters, fan, because I feel like they're my extended family at this point. Y'all done watched me for the past 9 years, and this is a way for them to be, you know, representative of what they're doing. So if they wear the brand, somebody got to do it as a teacher or as somebody who went to school after taking a 10-year gap or somebody who's a firefighter, you save somebody's life, that means something to them. So I always understood that. But furthermore, I knew that this reach could go way more than what I can because it's a message first. Like I came into this with a message. A lot of people don't have a message as a brand. They have a brand that gives a message, like you can add a message to. But for me, for whatever reason, like I was fortunate to have literally it's called Somebody Gotta Do It. So I always told myself like, put that to the forefront to the best of your ability and don't shy away from it. Because literally somebody got to do it. Why not you? So with everything, it just, when you start to do things, it just builds your appetite like anything else you do in life. So I always like when it comes to going to the schools or giving the scholarships or, you know, us even going back to Africa, we just keep thinking bigger. Like, yo.
On this international scale, bro. You realize how big that is?
Yeah, shout out to my team too, man. Because like you mentioned, I always got to bring up my team because it's really even more than the faces you see. It's so many people that work with us. Like we got a team just for the projects. We got a team just for the scholarships. We got a team just for the fashion shows. So I'm just grateful to the people that see the vision because a lot of things I say can throw people off.
Yeah.
Like it's not easy to be like, yo, what y'all think about? Let's go to Africa and do. Like some people might be like, you tripping? Wow, why not just stay here? Right. So some things is not for the weak mind. It's really, and I don't mean that as an insult because not everybody thinks bigger. But I'm saying I'm just grateful I got people around me that when I say something, they don't make me feel small or don't talk me out of it. In fact, they just add to it. Like, let's think bigger.
So going forward, it sounds like that ain't going nowhere.
No.
Continue to be a backdrop of the brand.
Yeah, if you ask me, bro, like I see myself opening up a school before I open up a store.
Wow.
Like if you want to know my vision with somebody got to do it, like obviously it's multiple branches like you mentioned, but like that's the type of thing I want to do. I want to be able to leave this world with an impact knowing like, all right, we didn't just pass through here. Like we left our imprint, we left our mark. And you know, it's not easy, but literally, no pun intended. Somebody got to do it.
That's one of the best things I ever heard, bro. No, out of all the people, no disrespect to nobody, but like just that one sentence, I think it just showcases like what you in this for, like largely. And that's going back to Nipsey, bro. He's one of my biggest inspirations.
Yeah,
when I looked at him, I could always see passion over profit. Yeah. And of course, you want to make money. Is you doing this to feed yourself and your family, but it's like, what is the larger impact that I can create through this brand that happens to be a medium between me and the world around me? Right. And I think that's dope, bro. So like, I already know that you're gonna do that. Like, just knowing you, I know that this is just not words. We probably have to do another podcast in like a few years or something like that. Man. But no, that's dope, bro. And I wanted to ask you, like, speaking of business, when you talk about like starting off with a message, what that brings to mind is your flagship T-shirt. Like, if you was around from the beginning and somebody got to do it, you know how it started. You know that. It started with the somebody got to do it T-shirt. Yes, sir. And it was in all the different colorways. Yeah. So like now I'm seeing more SGDI. Yeah. But what I wanted to also say, bro, is that like I seen you in this time frame in the 9 years, like everybody from the hood that started a clothing brand, bro, they gonna start off with T-shirts and stuff like that. So I seen you doing that. But now I'm seeing you in a whole different element. Like I'm seeing you venture out into other parts of fashion. I'm seeing you put out pants now. I'm seeing you doing jackets. I'm seeing you doing sweaters. I'm seeing you do apparel for different times of the year, different seasons. So I want to ask you, bro, like, how did you develop your confidence to be able to be like, I have a perspective that I could offer up outside of T-shirts and sweatsuits. Like I feel like I got something valuable too. Like, what gave you the confidence to feel like you could do that?
I think for me, it's just listening to the people, bro. You know, when you in this, again, like, I'm one of those people, like I said, I'm a man of my people, man of my community. So I always understood that, bro, you got to grow and adapt with times, too. As you can understand, we in an environment where things change like this. So I started 9 years ago. You can only imagine 9 years ago is not how it is in current day. Like, I'm going to be honest, like, people don't even believe me when I said there was no Insta stories. There was no Instagram, they didn't have videos yet. Like, you got to really think about that. So it was like things like Vine popping off. And it was one point where promoting a business was not normal. And that's why it's like, I'm not ancient, but just to give people like an insight of like, I came from a different era and I had to like, kind of follow suit with different type of eras of like what's going on. And you also got to, like I said, you got to, because the thing about people is you don't want to just get on top, but how can you stay on top? And to be relevant is to stay relevant. So you got to figure out what the people want. Like what type of stuff is coming out, whether it's sneakers or trendy things. Like you just got to really pay attention to the market and what the people is asking for. Because at this point, if you don't, you're going to get outdated. We grew up in a time where we was wearing Aeropostale, Abercrombie, and stuff like. Think about it. If it can happen to these well-established men, what you think will happen to you? And I feel like a lot of people was not willing to grow outside of their comfort zone or what they feel like they wanted. But you know, with this type of game, man, it's changing as we see, and people are coming in way more seasoned. Like you see people start today, bro. When I got away with, I could not have started today what I started away with, because I got away with just doing the, like, you know, anything.
But it's different though, bro. It's different though, because what I'm seeing now that a lot of kids are missing is things that you had.
Right.
So like they might have better designs, but like Sam talked about, having that connection to the community.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing, bro. Like being able to like immerse yourself into the community, be a recognizable figure, and create impact as an extension of your brand.
Right.
Like it's not just like I'm putting out these fire clothes. It's like, no, like I know Yus. Like I see him at the masjid.
Yeah.
No, I saw Yus. He was hosting an event in the community. And growing up in this era, a lot of the kids, they aren't as savvy socially.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that will always be an asset.
Because we came up in a word of mouth era, bro.
Where you had to like,
we had to sell out the trunk. We had to really talk in real life.
In Southwest, bro, I knew how you got it around. To see, bro, you came to the temple. You was there for what, 2 years?
Yeah.
Bro, I remember, for those that don't know, like, just think of your student center. If you go to a PWI, bro, I seen hundreds of people. And there was people that didn't even go to our university, bro. I seen everybody walking around campus. And to them, it's like, it hit different for me because I know you, bro. So when I seen, like, it's 40,000 people that go to Temple. To think, my man Brand, like, it touched this whole university to where it's people congregating. I'm talking about people of all faiths and denominations, all backgrounds, bro. Like, you did your thing there.
I appreciate it, bro.
I just wanted to give you those flowers too, bro, because I seen it, like, I seen when it was just t-shirts, and now I'm seeing, like, everything else. You got your stuff on right now, bro. So
yeah, man. Got last season, thermal. Like Zip, man. Shout out to my team though, again, man, because like I said, man, they be with me for hours, man. You need a team, bro. I'm tell you that right now.
One thing I wanted to ask you, bro, is like, this is something that's like, it's been spoken about for people that know you, like, people that have seen you grow up, bro. That like, just I'll talk about your brand in passing. We all say the same thing. And you kind of touched on it, bro, but everybody be like, yo, why you don't got a store? Have anybody ever said that to you?
People offer me a store.
Bro, everybody say that. Like, when I be talking, I be like, you used to need a store. Like,
everybody say that, man.
Where's that situated for you? Like,
you're right. I'm glad you brought that up, because I could bring it full circle. Because it was a decision where, like, I had opportunity maybe a couple years in where we almost did, sign off on that and to get that running. But for me, and this is why I'm just be transparent, I never was comfortable with my environment. That's one. Because you got to understand, like, I still came up in this environment where I was pretty known, and I know just what goes on out here. You feel what I'm saying? It's not like other people. We ain't got the, and I'm a man too. So I always knew, like, yo, if there's something that's going on, I got to make sure I want to grow to a space where I grow outside of Philly and do that. It's crazy that I even got to say that. But then too, like, my heart was more so with the community aspect of building that. You know what I mean? Like, for clothes, I'm so grateful. I don't think people understand what online does. Like, I'm seeing, like, how this is turning out to be online. I make more money. It's crazy. I'm a person that do events. I make more money from online than any of my pop-up shops and events. That's just the element of meet and greet and let people come and actually feel the clothes, is to give them experience. So I think that's also important for people to be able to see you and engage. But as far as like the online, I just think that's not going anywhere. And my goal, as I mentioned to you, like, I will build a school before I open a store. You know what I'm saying? So like, if it's a point where like I'm where I need to be at, inshallah, God willing, the store come about, that's cool. That's just not first on my checking list. You see what I'm saying? Like, for me, at one point, if you realize, you look back, I was just doing fashion shows. That was like my flagship event and only event. But now, as you see, we get to a point where we still will do that fashion show like every leap year now instead of every year. But because of that, now we do business seminars. We got the scholarship programs. We got the community pop-up shops, the pop-up shops, the charity events. So we got a lot of things that we want to introduce and also like prioritize where we're not deviating from what the people grew up seeing us do, but we're also showing them like, yo, this is like a one-stop shop and this is how we operate throughout the year. And, you know, people gonna gravitate to what they gravitate to. So that's how I look at it. If I get to a point, you know, where I do get the schools or whatever community centers I want to get going, and then we can get a store, why not? It's not off the table. It's just not priority for me.
That's how I look at it.
So I want to be me, bro, if I ain't prying to that a little bit, because I have questions about it. But to me, it seems like, is at the root of it, is it like a safety thing? Like, is it a concern for safety?
For safety, so a part of it, yes, but I do think I would be lying if I said that's the only reason.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, okay, what if I move?
Right.
And then it's like, okay, it's safer in this environment. But now it's like, now is more than that because that's just not what my heart wants me to do first. And I feel like part of the things that make us who we are is, you know, we follow our heart and when we just how we feel, you know, intuition wise, spiritually wise, that's just gonna make us stay true to ourselves. And I feel like for me, like, I gotta stay true to what feels right. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, I know why. If something is telling me, yo, do this, because they're both big magnitudes, but if something's telling me, yo, like, let's go the school route first, that's just something I just really want to just see throughout first. And then, like I said, you know, it's not gonna be off the table because if why not? If it can happen, why not? But as far as Philly, I don't think I'm gonna do it in Philly now. I'm gonna be real, and that is rooted from safety. I'm just be like, I was just saying off camera, bro. I lost 2 people to gun violence the same month, bro. Like it's crazy out here, bro.
One thing I wanted to ask you, bro, is that like I had a conversation with somebody, and they were saying like basically all the people that get on from Philly, like we all like leave.
Yeah.
And they were saying for me specifically, as somebody that's prided myself on being a part of the community and being such a pillar in the community, like I'm hurting the community through my absence. Wow. And that was a conversation where I told them, I was like, I heard this from Will Smith. I believe this was like years ago. And people might feel how they feel about Will Smith, but he said something like, you can't save everybody. And realistically, not one person alone could change the world. So he was like, you got to start with changing yourself, changing your family, and changing your direct community. And just hope that whatever impact you create through those mediums reverberates outward. And I always was just under that pretense, bro. Like I knew that staying in Philly, like I just took my partner, I took her through Southwest. And I showed her like different places, landmark places that meant certain things to me. And one place I took her, I was like, yo, this area right here, like this joint used to terrorize me. Like, not that nothing happened, but more so just like mentally as a young black man preparing yourself to like walk through this area and know everything that could happen. Like right now, I took her through that. Like, yo, like these years of my life, like imagine having anxiety. And you don't even know it's anxiety because we ain't even had them type of words at the time. But just having anxiety about like, yo, when I turn this corner, anything could like happen. Or if I look at this person in the eyes for too long, it could cause something to happen. Like, bro, I took her through that, and I don't know if a lot of people like truly understand the perspective of a young black man growing up in a certain environment, bro. But it's deep, and a lot of that stuff, like I'm still trying to account for it for this day. But I knew at the time, bro, like the way that I'm feeling mentally, the way I feel physically in my body, like I will never reach the pinnacles of what I could become if I stay here at this portion of my life. That's not to say that I can't ever come back, but I knew that I got to make a business decision for me. Like my family, everybody had choices. Everybody made choices for whatever reason. And I can't base what I do for myself off of what everybody did before me. When you talk about generational curses and trying to create new pathways for myself and for my family, if nobody ever take a risk, we're going to keep repeating the same cycle. We're going to keep doing the same thing. So somebody had to make the choice and be like, no, I'm going to go to school. First person in my family to do that with a bachelor's degree. I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to go get my master's degree.
And I'm going crazy. I'm a cute being. You start going crazy though. I was watching, man. I'm like, that was crazy.
Nobody else did that. My family. Then I'm like, you know what? After this, like, I'm gonna go to Atlanta. Like, that's the Black Hollywood. When I look at media, like what I'm passionate about, like Black media, Black entrepreneurism, like this is literally like the place to be. So I'm like, of course I could have did all of this in Philly and it would have been easier because all my connections is in Philly. When I come back home, I get the best podcast. I get people like you, people like Sam, but it's like, I would rather take the risk of building myself up in a whole new market and seeing what I could do here. And also like having the space to think and heal myself from some of the, not having to look over my shoulder and thinking like, yo, if I go outside in my race or if I got my MacBook in my book bag, somebody gonna rob me and take everything that I worked so hard for. Those are the real thoughts that we be having, bro. And like,
that's real.
I don't know if people understand it. It's like, y'all killed Nipsey like right in front of his store.
Bro.
In his own neighborhood, it's a street named after him, something that he poured so much into. So I'm not saying that to say that we shouldn't be advocates of the community, but community is wherever you build it.
Yeah.
Community is everywhere. And if I'm still touching my people, it's like, it don't matter. I don't have to be like hell bent to Philly
bro.
Just because that's where I'm from. And hopefully I get to a point, which I believe I am, the resources and the access and the wealth that I'm gonna have around me, I'm gonna be able to create a wider impact than what I could have did by just hosting these community events. So it might take a little time, but the type of person I am and the type of community impact I want to create, Lord willing, I need spare in my life, but it's never too late to come back around and do that. But I wanted to ask you, bro, like, did you ever have those thoughts of like leaving? And, like, how do you wrestle with it?
Bro, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm glad you touched on that, bro, because these are a lot of conversations I be having, like, just off Instagram with my friends. Like, a lot of you not, even today when I was driving up here, I was talking to somebody on the phone and I said, like, yo, I never felt so close to death. And I didn't know how to really explain it. And they was like, what you mean? I'm like, yo, when it started to become so close to home and like, cause it's different when, you know, we used to see things in passing or watch the news. I'm like, damn, we really around this. But when it started to become your family and friends, when it's really like, it feels like this is representation. It really feels near. And sometimes even furthermore, I don't even be thinking about moving. Sometimes it's making me just think about stopping. And that's why I be having to get out those intrusive thoughts, because it's like, you ask yourself, yo, what am I doing all this for when somebody could take me out for just doing what I'm doing? Like, you don't even got to be, think about it. We used to be in the times we had to watch your back because you into some shit. Now you just got to be doing something. You could get money and that might rub somebody the wrong way. You could just be having emotion.
Smiling too hard.
You could be smiling and it's like, yo, somebody really may just not like your light because it's a reflection of what they're not doing. And they can't stand there to the point they rather see you like off this earth, bro. And I'm just like, so I have these conversations all the time to answer the question. It's like, yo, and realistically, I could see that happening though. It's more of a, yo, like, when would it happen rather than like, I wonder if I'm gonna do it. Because I was battling and growing up like, yo, am I really gonna leave Philly? Because I feel like, yo, a lot of people leave and it's part of the problem. I did used to think like that because my perspective wasn't as grown as it is right now. It's more so like, if everybody keep leaving, who gonna be in the forefront? You know what I mean? I do feel like we do need more hands-on and, you know, these kids, the type of way they going, like, we need to be. That's why you see I'm really in these schools, because I'm like, we can't give up on them, even though it's going to be a tall task.
But actually, it's a hard question, bro. Yeah. Is that your job, though? You know what I mean? Like, is that your job?
Yeah.
Your job. And honestly, bro, like, we could make, like I said, we could change ourselves, we could change our families, and we could try to make an impact on our communities. Right. But at the end of the day, the issues that are permeating Philadelphia, bro, they're going to keep going whether you here or you're not here. So it's like, would you rather like have your mental health suffer, potentially limit the growth of scaling your brand to be here to create this impact? That's a question only you really know the answer to, bro. Yeah. But when I asked myself, bro, I was just like, anything that I like, bro, I won awards for like my community service, what I could do in Philly. Right. At a certain point, I feel like I've reached my limits to the point where like, I just didn't want to feel the way I felt here anymore, bro. Bro, being in Atlanta now, like, it's not that violence and danger is not there either. Right. But it's like nobody know me. So I'm just ducked off with my little family on a whole different side of the world. And I finally feel some sense of peace and tranquility of like, you know, when I'm driving, like, I don't. And the crazy thing is, bro, like in Atlanta, it's open carry. So everybody got a gun out there in the South. Right. I still feel more safe there than I did here in Philly, bro. So it's like, I just wanted to ask you that, bro, because I genuinely feel like a lot of people, like once they get to your juncture of success, they feel like you can feel that survivor's guilt, that survivor's remorse, and I want to see where you was at that.
No, I appreciate that question. And I think right now, even to just top it off, is just to say, like, I'm still in the space of the unknown with that question. You know what I'm saying? And that's as real as I can get with it because it's like, now it's more of a battle, like I said. It wasn't a conversation before because I was more so fixated on, nah, I'm going to always be one of the forefronts. But now when you start to see things unfold and you start to see it's taking a toll on you to the point where it's affecting my capacity to do what I need to do, it's just a real conversation.
And not even, you ain't say like, I'm thinking about like relocating my business. You said I'm thinking about stopping.
Yeah, it got me to that point sometimes, bro. When they get to that point,
that's nothing worth that.
Yeah, bro.
It's nothing worth that, bro. And the way I see it is like, people might feel how they feel about these people, bro. Like I said, Will Smith, Kevin Hart, like, they rep Philadelphia, bro. It may not be in a way of like people feel good about, but you don't know where those people plant their money. You don't know what they do with their funds.
Real, bro.
And I'm sure both of them, you see it from time to time. Like Kevin Hart donated this amount of money,
yeah,
blah, blah,
absolutely.
blah. But at the end of the day, his only responsibilities is to his family, bro. Like, he don't owe none of us nothing. I don't feel like that.
Yeah, I know.
People be like, me can't do X, Y, Z. Bro, I don't feel like he owe me nothing, bro. If he did something, I feel like it would be cool. Like, that'd be dope. Like, yo, it's Mickey. Yeah. But I don't feel like he owe me nothing. Maybe that's the type of person I am. But I just feel like I got to wake up just like he do. Yeah. I got a choice and a chance every single day to, like, make choices that's going to get me closer to where I want to be. Or I could just keep living and trying to be average.
Yeah. Damn, that part, I ain't gonna lie, this part was needed, man. Yeah, I felt that part. I felt that this segment right here, that was heavy, bro.
But I love, bro, when I see you, like, in New York, you doing your pop-ups in other cities and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, how do you feel about that your brand has just, like, that level of reach that you could go in a whole different state and city and, like, the rooms are still packed out, flooded?
I mean, again, man, I'm just grateful to God, bro. Because some of these things, bro, we'd be lying if you don't have that fear. Because you gotta say, a lot of people, fear prevents people from doing so much, from starting or continuing or taking that leap. So I'm just grateful that within taking that leap, you know what I mean, people was able to recognize it, even from afar. Because even like you said, going to New York, man, when I saw that, it was just like a confirmation. You know, sometimes in life, you got certain things that you do, but you might get to a certain point where you realize, like, oh, this was another confirmation that I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing, or to keep going, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at some of those things. It's like, damn, like, wow, like, remember, this started as a hashtag, bro. It just make you can't help but reflect. Like, I remember, like, just in my house, in my basement, and just literally going boxes and sometimes driving, nobody buying it, but still smiling and still going back the next day. Like, yo, my goal is to get at least 2 people.
Like, you know what I mean? The way you carried it, bro, like, I know I was there when you was younger. Yeah. And I know people on the outside, bro, you always look like you had $1 million, like, throughout the whole time. So if you was ever struggling or whatever, we never knew on the outside.
Because we rich in blessings, man. That's how you gotta look at it, man. I'm just blessed and fortunate to be alive and to have an opportunity, bro. Like, think about it. We got an opportunity to do something that's going to be able to either change our lives or the lives of other people. So, of course, I'm aware that every day, being proud, like, yo, I can get up and do this again. And I'm going to get up and do this again. So I just look at that, like, if you feel like you rich in blessings, you know, all that money and all these, you're just going to look at it like, yo, that's going to come. And when it comes, that's just going to be, like, more so to facilitate what you're already doing. That's how I look at money, bro. It's like, if you can make impact, I always tell people, if you can make an impact with what you have, more money just gonna make you do more of what you do. You know what I mean?
I ain't asked you this, bro. All this, I never asked you this. Yeah. Where did the name come from?
Somebody gotta do it?
Yeah, like, I know it started as a hashtag.
It started in conversations first. That's a funny, but I think when I be telling this, I just say hashtag, but it actually started as me rebuttaling what people were saying. Cause it was like, I used to be a butt of a lot of jokes in my friend group because I was one of those that just didn't know what I wanted, but I kept going from one thing to another. So I was trying a lot of different things. So I remember one time they was Ben, you know how we be, for everybody just like Ben. I'm like, well, fuck, if somebody got to do it. Right. And everybody started laughing. And then, like, I just ran with it, not because I wanted to, but I remember when I said it for the second time again, unconsciously, just like I said, man, somebody got to do it. Because they kept using this thing that used to piss me off, to be like, what's it called? They still saying that jack of all trades and master of none. And I used to really, I don't know why, they used to throw me off. So I used to just say, well, somebody got to do it. And then when they had a little ring to it, I took it further. I started hashtagging it. You know what I mean? And then that was just a way for me to just get myself in the right mind. Like, yo, what you doing is not crazy, because somebody gotta do it.
It's
But
something to make you think, bro. Like whenever you hear it, it be like it just roll off your tongue, no diddy, but it just be like it's smooth. Like somebody got to do it. Now you showing it to SGDI. But what do that mean to you at the core of that, bro? Like when you say somebody got to do it, like what was you really trying to convey to people?
you know, it's crazy at that time, because obviously you evolve. Like from 20 years old, I'm 29 now. At that time, when I was 20, when I said somebody got to do it and just hashtag, it was just to represent possibilities. Like, yo, it don't matter what you going through or who you are. Because even as a kid, I was going through a lot. So that was my whole thing. It was like, yo, just remember, somebody got to do it. And why not you? But then when it started to be a thing where other people start hashtagging, that's really where birthed it. Because now people start to piggyback. Like I used to see people like, yo, I don't feel like doing this double shift, but like my man used to be like, somebody got to do it. Then when I started seeing like other people doing it, then I'm like, yo, this is where it just a light bulb went on. I'm like, yo, this is not just even about me. I was just doing it to motivate myself, but now I'm like, yo, this can actually be representative to everybody and what they're doing. So I just like all walks of life, and I'm just grateful that it aged well. Because when you're young, you could think of something that's childish, you know what I mean? But it don't age well. So even when I go to events now and I see people still saying it like for the first time, oh, that's dope. How'd you? I'm like, I'm just grateful that that's still aging well, because it could have not. You know what I mean? Because when you're young, you think in that frame of a young person or a teenager. So I'm just glad that
it evolved with us, bro. Yeah, it evolved with us. Like when I'm thinking about when we was kids playing basketball, now we about to be 30, bro.
That's crazy,
like,
bro.
It turned into something totally different. Yeah. So like as we get to the end of this, bro, as we get to the close, I wanted to ask you a couple fun questions because, like I said, people want to know about you, bro. What's on the youth playlist? Like, what you listening to music-wise, bro?
You know what's crazy? A fun fact, like, I don't listen to music unless I'm in the gym.
Yeah, it makes sense though, bro. Because like I told you, I've been following you for years. I've never even seen you just post like, I'm listening to Meek Mill today.
And it's crazy. Like I never was really like, you know, when I at a certain point when I was younger, when I started to get more inclined spiritually, I started listening to the Quran more. That's just like what we listen to. And I became more of somebody listening to podcasts. And so I just was big on what my intake is, because I really want to be as intentional, even down to music, even though it's entertainment, there's some positive music. But for me, before that, I only listened to like rap music, drill music. So I just didn't feel like that was conducive for my mind. So I'm big on what I feed my mind.
Why you just make me feel like
No. But I listen to it in the gym.
No, but that's me. I'm more so saying, bro, like I ain't get there yet from a maturity standpoint. Yeah, I feel like when I went to college, bro, given we both from Philly, from Southwest, like. Bro, I was so raw coming in, and I feel like by the time I came out, I was wearing suits, I was talking different, but it didn't feel good. I'm like, yo, this can't be the way. Like to make it in corporate America, like, we basically gotta be robots. Yeah, and I didn't like how it would start making me feel. So I'm like, I gotta get back to myself. So the music and all that, it's like my last. It's like the last thing that keeps me like relatable. Yeah, I feel like.
But I love that you said that, because I feel like that's the part that. The beauty about everything, like how we all come from different walks of life. We got to go back to like what makes us who we are and what's a part of us. And for me, like I said, that was something where I felt like it just didn't bode well for me. Right. So except like, I'm not gonna lie, in the gym, it's hard to listen to motivational like lectures when I'm working out because I'm heavy on the gym.
So what be on the gym playlist? No, I go back. You might throw some Future in there.
Yeah, Meek, Future, Cole. Yeah. I'm a Drake guy. I don't care, contrary to what everybody say. No, he got. I don't know if he got cooked. I wouldn't say that. I think he fought though. I just felt like that last track was a little, you know what I mean?
Well, that's typical from a Drake fan. Y'all not gonna say y'all man got cooked.
He fought at least. I mean, Cole apologized, right? So hey.
All right. The last question, bro. I wanted to ask you, like, just what does a typical day in life look like for you? Like, if you could remove everything related to the brand, because I feel like that's what people want to know. Right. Like, what does that look like? Like, fun for you?
I mean, I would say for me, I wake up early. I got to pray. That's when we start, like, our day. Like, Fajr comes in. After I pray, I like to go to the gym in the morning. I'm a morning person, gym person. I start my day that way. I just feel like it gets me in the right setting, the right headspace. After that, I do got a 9 to 5, which a lot of people don't know. Yeah. So obviously I go to my 9 to 5. And when I come from that, like, I'm either going like to the masjid, where like, you know, that's the place where our spiritual place at, or I'm with my friends. Like I said, I'm a real intimate type of guy. I'm always with my friends. Either we have a kickback to somebody's crib or what have you, or I'm with my brother, Mad, go to his crib. But I'm very family. That's who I am. I'm a family oriented. I'm really with family. Like I'm a family, and close friends became family. So I'm really with like the folks, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I do. And a lot of times, that's what my outing comes from. Like we go out to eat, we got brunches. I do a lot of team brunches. They don't know that. Me and my team, that's one of our things. We always go out to eat. We always go play sports like basketball, go to the gym, soccer. But all that, like I said, because it's so private and it never makes social media, I do understand like the, but I gotta, again, I'm gonna go back to how I started in the beginning. I got a real peaceful life outside of social media. And when you find peace, what you gonna do to it? You're gonna do whatever you can to protect it, right? So that's my whole thing is I just want to protect that peace because I know what comes with that social. I've been in social media for a minute. Like I've been in that limelight, having over 10K followers. So I've been used to that world. So that's why I always just separate those two entities because I know like this is somebody gotta do it and it comes with that and I understand that job description. But outside of that, I love my peace, my privacy, and my safe haven, and you know.
So what you gotta say to the ladies that be asking though? Like what you want to say to them before this go up? They be asking when you get married, all that.
I mean, this what I would say though. If I get married, I'm gonna post about it, just because I want to be. I'm not gonna post if I'm dating or whatever the case, because this is how I look at it. You mean whatever. So you got to keep it private until it's permanent. You know what I mean? Okay. People can't run what they don't know. Right. And again, if you see me talking about like those things that I consider like my privacy and my peace of mind, that's one of those things. That's a big deal for me. And I don't want to lead with that on the forefront because I feel like it comes with a lot of stuff I'm not into. Right. I'm not into all that keeping the people updated and this and that. I'm here to serve and I promote my business. That's what I'm here for. So the reason I said when I get married, I'm going to post it is because I do want to identify myself as a married man. I don't want to be one of those people where like that's misconstrued because I want that boundary and that respect from other women to know like whatever you know, I'm a married man. And that's something I'm going to definitely hang my hat on. So until then, that's...
We in different places.
They're not going to know. They're not going to know who I'm talking to. None of that, man.
I'm 27. We only a year apart, bro. But like in some aspects, you like 35. I'm still 27.
People always call me an old soul. I don't know. That's a good thing or bad thing, but I roll with it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, lastly, bro, I asked all my guests this before the episode is over, but how would you personally define failure?
Failure. I would define failure as something not working out because it ultimately led you to where you needed to be and what was meant for you. Because I don't think failure is final. Failure is just there to show us that we're trying. It's proof that you're trying. Because if something don't work, that means something in the process wasn't going the way it's supposed to, whatever the case is. So what did that make you do? You try again, and you try again, and you keep going until you ultimately get to where you need to go. So
before we get out of here, bro, just tell the people how they can keep up with you on all your social media platforms. For sure.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. And for everybody watching, you can find me on Instagram. Personal page is use.Ndiaye. Ndiaye is Ndiaye. I got to spell that out. Brand page, somebody got to do it on all platforms, is _ somebody got to do it. The gotta is GOTTA. So somebody got to do it. Y'all follow me, whatever y'all need. And I want to thank you again, my brother, for allowing me to come on. And also, I want to tell you, keep doing your thing, bro. You one of the people where I look at, even though you're younger than me, I look up to you in a lot of ways. You've always been a forward thinker. You've always been somebody that's about your community, about your grind, and your work ethic is unmatched, bro. That's one thing I always admire from afar. I tell you this behind the scenes. I say it publicly, and I'm going to say it to you right now, man. You one of the ones, bro. And you one of the people that I see that if he can make it, I feel like we all can make it too, man. So keep doing your thing, man.
I told y'all I'm learning to not say nothing, so we're going to end it just like that, yo. I appreciate y'all.
Conversations of NFTs and things. Investing all our dollars and hoping that freedom reigns. It's hard being us, but the talents cover the pain. Make it to the lead, but we still don't own the game. Way too many souls are tainted behind the fame. The parties in private mansions, they exchange some drinks. Corrupt the things you think, your life change in a blanket and nothing seems the same. All these curses.